ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another wonderful round brought to you by the Sim Racers Room. This is the Porsche Cup Challenge, and today being October the 4th, a new reign of champions will be decided as we approach the halfway point of the season. Things are getting pretty spicy in the championship standings. The drivers have already got to going on their qualifying run. So without any further delay, let's head over to the main screen and see what they're all up to, shall we? The tracks we've been up to so far have been Imola, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, Barcelona last week. Now we're at the Red Bull Ring. Following that will be Spa-Francorchamps, Hungaroring, Zandvoort, and then to round things out will be at Monza. Taking a look at the race details for this week at week 4 at the Red Bull Ring, we have, obviously it's the Red Bull Ring, but the track length of 2.6 miles or 4.3 kilometers, founded in 1969. Nice. Current layout from 2022, located in Spielberg, Austria. 10 corners, 3 to the left, 7 to the right, with 313 feet of elevation change, or 65 meters. Track temperature, 19 degrees Celsius, 71% humidity, cloudy, and 6 kilometers per mile, or 6 kilometers per hour crosswind there. Keys to the race: number 1, watching track limits, making sure that you don't breach track limits at turn 9 and turn 10 will be imperative to your race. Brake hard, brake smooth going into turn 3, Remus, which is the uphill section by around 10 degrees, and downhill into Schlossgold. Turn 4, you want to make sure that you brake hard, but brake smoothly and nail those corner entries. Tire degradation, the asphalt here is kind of rough, so making sure that you manage your tire deg without pushing too hard will be imperative. Got to nail your qualifying run as well. It is notoriously tricky to pass here, especially in these Porsche Cup cars. So nailing qualifying will pay dividends to where you end up finishing the race. Now taking a look at the championship standings for week 4, no drop rounds will be applied. So Jaden Harrison leads the charge with 113, and with Kadeem Mohammed not showing up for last week's event, and I don't see him in this week's event either, he's down to 84 points in third. That leaves Declan Daniel with 101 points out in second place. Monet Duploy, Mr. Consistency, running in 75 points in fourth place. Adi Nagel in 5th place, 69 points to his name. Andrew Marsan in 6th, Peter Arundel, Louis Benny, Julian Arce, and Giannis Constantine will round out the top 10. Gareth Wells, Michael Ashe, Jay Butler, Benny Zetvaga, Joshua Brady, and Deslin Van Grupp will round out the 16 participants in this championship so far. Now to the qualifying session to see what the drivers have been up to as we approach the halfway point of this session. 132.110 is the time to beat, and that was set by Declan Daniel with Kyle Barnes in P2 so far. Declan Daniel, the veteran Calypso racing driver, looking pretty good on the racetrack. Kyle Barnes in that P2 spot, driving the number 22, aptly put. Andrew Marsan out of number sequence right now. The number 4 is in third place with Monet Duploy in fourth. Adi Nagel in 5th, driving the number 78. Peter Arundel, the number 8, in 6th place. Louis Benny, the number 9, in 7th. Branson Haldor in 8th position with Julian Arce in 9th. A couple of drivers decided to split this one down the middle, get a change for tires, and then get rolling one more time. So allowing them that opportunity to get a new change of boots, refuel their vehicles, and perform some outlaps will give them a little bit of leeway here while Declan Daniel decides to stay out. It'll be about 6 laps that he has run so far continuously. And we're looking at the 92nd lap mostly here. This is a fixed setup event, if I'm not mistaken. The drivers all on equal playing field, as it were. And really trying to push their skills to the absolute limit. Let's look at Branson Haldor's lap right now, as he is on a flyer, but comes down pit road. He was improving pretty considerably on that lap, but not enough for him to want to keep going, it looks like. We'll get that car serviced and then get rolling out again in just a few moments' time. Andrew Marsan having a little bit of a breach of track limits coming through turn 9. That'll be his 5th one so far in this qualifying session. And one of the things that you have to absolutely avoid during the race session. Not really a good place to serve a slowdown penalty after turn 9 and 10. You really just have to take the penalty on your chin. When I deploy finds track limits, I believe, at turn 9. Pierre and Dale gets to the line. Will not improve over that 132.110 time. 33.31 that last time around. Julian Arce actually into the pits. Let's check out Andrew Marsan, who's looking good for some improvement right now. The driver is currently in 3rd position and trying to find his way up the order right now. Almost finding track limits at turn 10, though, with a big wiggle to boot. 31.914. We're down into the 31s, folks, and that is going to be a new session best as Andrew Marsan pulls over at the runoff at turn 1 and finishes up his qualifying run, I would imagine. Now taking a look at Kyle Barnes, driving the number 22. Coming down in towards turn 4 now. That should be Schlossgold. Coming around turn 9 and turn 10. Not looking like a major improvement for Kyle Barnes at this attempt. He needs only about a tenth and a bit. To get in front of Declan Daniel, but Looking at the qualifying times, he needs 3/10 to get ahead of Marseille. Time's very close here at the Red Bull Ring, as it would be with such a short track length. As we said, it's only 2.6 miles long with only 10 corners. The drivers are expected to be running in line with each other, or at least close to each other. Looking good, looking fast is Lewis Benny through Sector 2 currently, trying to find a better time than his 1:33.28, and will he do that? 1:33.5 at that last time of asking. 1.1 off the pace from Andrew Marsan. Mounts the sausages over at turn 1, pulls off, and that will conclude his run. Marsan, Nigel, Haldor and Narce and Benny all calling it quits. Monet, Deploy, and Aaron Dell out there still running. Kyle Barnes, a new contender to this championship. Excited to see what he can produce in the race with such good qualifying. Up at the top, the tip of the spear, but not good enough through Sector 1 to improve even over his best time. 1:32.21 is what he's got to beat if he has anything else left in the tank. One of the drivers that's run the most during this qualifying session is Kyle Barnes, so maybe he just doesn't have the tires anymore, and that'll prove it as he gets over the curbs at Schlossgold, and a bit of oversteer hit him pretty hard in the face. I doubt this will be an improvement through Sector 2. And there it is. That will conclude his qualifying run for sure. A trip into the kitty litter. Let's check out Peter Arundel as they're still running on the racetrack. Right where we saw Barnes go off, you can still see the gravel track lines for himself. That might actually be track limits there for Arundel. I think he put all 4 tires on the green stuff there. It doesn't matter. That time was only a 1:33.31. Definitely not good enough to change his position. And a pirouette over the sausage curbs at T1 will conclude Peter Arundel's run at things. Let's check out Declan Daniel. See if he's back on track yet. No, Declan Daniel is not on track. We'll wait for the drivers to get gridded up. What we're going to do is look at the championship standings one more time because things are awfully spicy here. Jaden Harrison tops the charts with 131 points, and Declan Daniel in P2. Kadeem Mohammed in third place with 84 points. It's important to note that Jaden Harrison and Kadeem Mohammed are not here this evening. So Declan Daniel has a good opportunity to grab a huge haul of points and the lead of this championship. Monet Duploy could also potentially claim third place in the championship if he finishes better than P2, or better than P4, excuse me. Ida Nagel in 5th, Andrew Marsan in 6th, the driver who took pole position right now with 66 points. Peter Arundel in 7th, Lewis Benny in 8th, Julian Narce in 9th, Giannis Constantine in 10th. Then we have Gareth Wells, Michael Ashe, Jay Butler, Benny Zetvaga, Joshua Brady, and Deslin Van Gerp. Important to point out that the top 5 will get prizes in this championship, so keep an eye out for those to be dropped at the end. But right now we're keeping an eye on the top 5 of Jaden Harrison, Declan Daniel, Kadeem Mohammed, Monet Deploy, Addie Nagel. But that's all about to change now, won't it? Because 2 out of those 5 drivers are not here this evening and will lose the opportunity to secure a huge run of points in the championship standings without a drop round either. It's very interesting to see what can happen towards the end. We do have 8 rounds in this championship. Anybody could miss anything for any reason, obviously, but hopefully they do not. And we're just getting gridded up right now, if I'm not mistaken. And we can show those qualifying results of Marsan, Daniel, Kyle Barnes, Addie Nagel, Monet Duploy, and how close they were. Peter Arundel being the barrier 1 second back. Down in 6th place, showing you how close the field was. Lewis Benny, Branson Haldor, and Julian Narcé in 9th. Taking a look at the grid that we have in front of us. It'll be Andrew Marsan, Declan Daniel in row number 1, Kyle Barnes and Addie Nagel in row number 2, Monet Duploy, Peter Arundel in row 3, Lewis Benny and Branson Haldor on row number 4, and Julian Arce in row 5, all by his lonesome. Final few drivers got to the grid just in the nick of time, and we're ready to go racing here at the Red Bull Ring. 9 drivers take the green flag start, and it's a great one for Kyle Barnes in P3. He might be able to pull one out on Declan Daniel, even trying to go for the lead of this race. Pinches down on Declan further behind, and we've got some side-by-side action further back down the order. I think that'll be Aaron Dell. I just want to keep an eye on this lead battle right now because it is getting awfully spicy up at the front. Kyle Barnes really challenging Andrew Marsan at the start of this event. He might need to watch his tire dag coming in towards turn 4. There is overlap there. He needs to be careful on the brakes now, and he does give the pincer move to Andrew Marsan, who cannot go wide any further there. So Kyle Barnes is going to carry the speed down and towards turn 5. And he does take the lead of this race. Kyle Barnes, your new leader, as Marsan and Declan Daniel fall further down the order. Remember, fuel saving could definitely become a thing also in this event. So maybe Kyle Barnes not privy to the strategies that the Calypso Racing drivers have run in previous events and not really cognizant that he could lose this lead in the pit stop cycle alone. Kyle Barnes, Marsan, Declan Daniel, and then we have Peter Arundel. The 3 Calypso drivers running nose to tail behind Kyle Barnes, the newbie. And then we have Addie Nagel, Lewis Benny, Monet Dupoy, Branson Holder, and Julian Narcé. Doesn't look like anybody's going for any moves, but it was awfully close between Declan Daniel and Marsan coming in towards turn 3. Almost a touch of the rear bumper there. The three Calypso drivers have raced together for a long time and are very familiar with the styles and racing strategy that they like to pull off. One thing is that Declan Daniel likes to be able to fuel save a little bit. Peter Arundel has been able to fuel save as well, but I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Declan Daniel was the one who admitted it first and is actually the more consistent at it. But there's not a lot of fuel saving opportunity here at the Red Bull Ring. I mean, going up the hill in towards turn 3, sure. Down the hill in towards turn 4, maybe. But you can't really fuel save or lift and coast. Pull in the clutch and just coast into the corners. Too much at turn 5. Probably not at turn 6. I think 7, 8, 9, and 10. Maybe there's some fuel saving going on there. And look at these four drivers all so close to each other. The unbelievable racecraft that they're able to stay tucked in behind each other so well, coming in towards turn 3 without any drama or any car door banging. But I imagine there might be some car door banging from further back as Arundel made a look at Declan Daniel. The battle for 3rd and 4th is brewing up to be one, that's for sure. Red Bull Ring is a very fast and flowy circuit with not too many overtaking spots available for these drivers, so clinching back a position will be very hard to do. Really, your main opportunities are going to be going in towards turn 1, 3, and 4. You've got to be close enough on your outright pace to be able to do something with it. And really, you're just hoping for a mistake from the other drivers around you to make that end up happening. .32.58 new fastest lap. That'll be Marsan as Declan Daniel gets by Marsan, and we're gonna have an inverse of positions there. And it looks like Arundel is trying to challenge Marsan for another one, but no, not through the entrance of turn 3. Maybe on the exit of turn 3 and on the rundown towards turn 4. Because Marsan went a little too deep and wide there, and it could be the end of his podium so far. Peter Arundel looks again to the inside at Schlossgold, turn 4, but doesn't want to act on it just yet. Keeping an eye on the Marsan battle. Surprised that Declan Daniel was able to pull out that move. Caught me off guard, I must say, but maybe there were some team orders coming down and saying, well, you had your chance to get around Kyle Barnes, now let me have a crack at him. As Kyle Barnes is kind of escaping up the road by 0.8 of a second now. A whole lot of ground to make up, but Marsan did have that fast lap on that previous attempt. That 1:32.58 was definitely his. No one has set a faster lap so far. 1:33.57 that previous lap. Ouch. Peter Arundel keeps looking to the inside line on that 3rd place position. Doesn't want to go for it just yet. Doesn't want to make an egregious move. Wants to find that one out cleanly. Adi Nagel, really quiet race for him out in P5. Started the race in P4. But he's off on an island all himself, the driver for Team Jesus. Really just doing his own thing right now. He's on this island. 2.3 to the cars in front of him, Arundel. And then 3.4 seconds back will be Lewis Benny, who's battling with Rene Dupuy. Rene challenging through turn 9 and through 10. Declan Daniel finds the new fastest lap, stolen away immediately by Andrew Marsan. A little bit of a move there from Lewis Benny, excuse me. Oh, Kyle Barnes and Declan Daniel inverting positions. As there must have been a mistake from Barnes going through turn 1. Let's get a replay of what happened here for the driver, Kyle Barnes. Must have just been a mistake out of turn 1. He's just slower than the rest of the field and has to put on a blocking maneuver to prevent Marsan from also gaining a position, and slots back in. Taking a look now, Arundel and Marsan. Marsan leads over Arundel currently, leading in towards turn 3, down the hill in towards turn 4. Be the next opportunity for the two of them. And it won't be an attacking move just yet, looking at Kyle Barnes and Declan Daniel. They're awfully close on the racing track, and I feel like Kyle Barnes is trying to snap back at the next opportunity that presents itself. Now, Kyle Barnes does not have a fastest lap. His best lap, in fact, is a 1:32.71. So on outright pace, that last lap around was much faster for Declan than Kyle's was. Beautiful use of the limit of track limit there. There it is. Kyle Barnes steals a fast lap away. 1:32.182 with the help of a little slipstream is all he needed. Oh no, and there was a big slide from Andrew Marsan. Let's take another look at that one, as long as there's no battle between Kyle Barnes and Declan Daniel going in towards turn 3. I don't believe this will be an attacking opportunity in the 3 or 4. And just got absolutely Tokyo drift sideways there. Marsan doing his best version of grid life, but just bottomed out the car, it seemed, got on throttle and sent it sideways through turn 1. Marsan's got to be kicking himself right now for what could have been a driver who started in pole position, now in 4th. And one tiny mistake is all it took to ruin his chances. But he can still come back. Peter Arundel is only 3.4 seconds up the road with the fuel saving strategy that Calypso Racing pulls off. Andrew Marsan, no stranger to that. He could make up 3 seconds in the pit lane, and there was a huge look from the double 2. at the entrance to turn number 1 and forces Declan Daniel to go a little wide there. And that might thwart his run coming down in towards turn 3 of Remus. I believe it is thrown Declan Daniel rhythm off just slightly, but not enough for the 2-2 to make anything happen. Kyle Barnes trying and looking very hard to make something work here, but it just didn't end up working out for him on that previous attempt. Coming through turn 5 and now turn 6. The order of operations will be Declan Daniel, Kyle Barnes, Peter Arundel, Andrew Marsan, Adi Nagel, Louis Benny, Branson Haldor, Julian Arce, and Monet Duploy, who has taken a pit stop, 8.8 second stop at 41.72 pit lane time. And that is quite early. Was Monet involved in an accident? Not that I'm seeing. That is just a very early pit stop for Monet Deploy, perhaps going for a very risky undercut strategy on the rest of the field that could end up working out in his favor. Trying to go on the grass is Kyle Barnes. And trying to find a way by Declan Daniel now at turn 3. He's going to have to go the long way around the outside, but that's not going to work out well for him. He mounts the sausage curbs at the exit of turn 3. Has to fall in single file line to block off the attempted run of Peter Arundel. And it's a Calypso Racing sandwich on Kyle Barnes being the meat of that sandwich. Trying to go for, again, another attempt at the outside of turn 4. Trying to go the long way around the outside. Declan Daniel runs Kyle Barnes a little bit wide there. Doesn't allow him any overspeed. Again, the outside line at turn 5. Tries to go for the over-under, but doesn't have the traction to find that inside corner there at turn 5. Coming in towards turn 6, Arundel's going to get a little racing, stick his nose into the mix also. But just being patient is Peter Arundel. 15 minutes and 30 seconds by the end of my shield have ticked over. Got another 25 minutes or so remaining in this event. 133-1, 133-2, 133-0 for Arundel, those last laps around. Whoa, and there's a big off. No, Kyle Barnes pirouettes it into the wall. Was he touched or did he jump on his own? Let's take a quick look and see what happened to Kyle Barnes there. Oh, he just got a big wiggle and just could not keep it collected, it seems. Man. So Barnes now making a similar mistake to Marsan, but a little bit worse this time around. Clattering into the wall. The driver is now in P4. Will probably end up using a repair in the pit lane cycle and might come to pit road a little bit earlier than the rest of the grid also. Driver who started in first, third, now in fourth position, and there is Kyle Barnes coming down pit road right there on your screen. And he will probably be using a fast repair if available. At the very least, refueling and maybe even changing his tires. But his best bet is to do something different than the rest of the field, obviously, and undercutting is very different than what the rest of the field is doing. Barnes is going to drop down behind Monet Deploy, I would imagine, in 8th place, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, he manages to stay out ahead of Monet. And 7th place for Kyle Barnes. Peter Arundel closing down the gap on Declan Daniel. It's only 0.2 between them, and Peter Arundel steals a fast lap away, 131.8. That last lap around will be the fastest of his and the fastest of the entire event. First driver to be in the 31s for the actual race pace now. But we all know catching is one thing, passing is a whole nother ball game, folks. And finding an opportunity to pass here at the Red Bull Ring sure is challenging, to say the least. Oh no! And there is a huge technical failure for Declan Daniel as he runs off into the wall. Oh no. And yeah, that's just a technical failure for Declan Daniel. And that'll be the end of his run here at the Red Bull Ring. Truly a tragedy. The driver was leading for so much of this event, but unfortunately, some sort of technical failure of his wheel pedal system, something of the likes, caused him to roll out onto the runoff area at the entrance of turn 4. And we'll never see that happen again, we hope. Now it's all quiet on the Western Front for these drivers. Kyle Barnes will be the next driver to watch out for as he works his way through the grid. Kyle challenging Julian Narcisse for 4th position now. Should gain ground on Julian Narcisse and Adi Miguel during the pit stop cycle. But it'll be even better and more satisfying if he gets it done on the racetrack. But Julian should probably pit within the next lap or two. Kyle Barnes running about 2 seconds a lap faster than Julian on the previous lap. So should catch up within the next lap and a half. And now Peter Arundel can back off the throttle just a little bit, run a little bit more comfortably without pushing so hard. Julian decides to not pit at the halfway point of this event, running a little bit longer and allowing Kyle Barnes the opportunity to get some on-track overtaking done. Looks to the inside at turn 3. Does he go for the move? He does go for the move. Julian stays really far out wide and allows Kyle Barnes to fly right on by. Next up will be Addy Miguel, who is 22 seconds up the road. That will be a full pit stop away. Pit lane time of 40 seconds. Pit time of 9.63. So Kyle's just going to have to be patient here to get third position. And that's if Kyle has enough fuel to make it to the end of this race. 45% fuel loads is the order of the day. So even when he came back to the pits, he could only fill up to 45% of his fuel tank. Hopefully that's enough to make it to the end of this 40-minute sprint. Jaden Harrison, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for your comment. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Declan has terrible luck in this championship so far. You're not wrong about that. I almost want to interview Declan if we have the opportunity to do so. Let's see if Declan is available or not. But yeah, Declan, I'm just curious what happened to him, really, and just would love to hear what happened to him during that event, just out of curiosity, really. Let's see if we have any information. Yes, Declan says screen went black during qualifying and then again in the race. iRacing crashed the second time. Ouch. Well, that would explain what happened to Declan Daniel. That's from the Discord server. But it's all been up to this man, Peter Arundel, so far. Start of the race in 5th position. Now up into 1st. Andrew Marsan in P2. The other Calypso Racing driver had a slip, trip, and fall at turn 1. Was able to recover and might have P2 secured for himself. Addy Nagel for Team Jesus. Really had a quiet race so far. Running in P4, P5 for most of it, but inherited those 2 positions by Kyle Barnes and Declan Daniel falling to the wayside. And here is the man who's trying to change that for Addy. Kyle Barnes closes down the gap to just 19 seconds. Only chopping out around 0.6 of a second that last lap around. So really has to make it to the end on fuel to get the podium secured for himself. Julian Arce in P5 has not taken his pit stop yet. Monet Dupoy took a very, very early pit stop. I want to say that was on lap 4 or 5 almost. It was so early. It was unbelievable. Didn't have an incident. No kind of red flags as to why he would have pit. No track limits, no crash notification, no nothing. He did a very early pit stop, hopefully trying to make it to the end, I believe. Maybe he can gain a position on Julian Arce if he does have fuel to make it to the end. And then we have Branson Haldor running in 7th position right now. Branson Haldor's last lap around was a 1:34.87. His fast lap being a 1:33.48. The driver from Latvia might end up finishing this race right where he started, but except gaining 1 position. Louis Benny dropped out of the race along with Declan Daniel, advancing some drivers forward. Let's look at the biggest gains so far. It'll be Peter Arundel with 5 positions gained. Julian Arce in 5th with 4 positions gained. And Branson Haldor with 1 position gained so far. Adi Nagel up 1 from where he started, but he might lose that position to Kyle Barnes depending on the fuel loads taken. And that will be interesting to see how that plays out in the last couple of minutes. With only 10 to go in this event, I'm surprised to see not more pit stops have been called. The only 4 drivers that have pit: Kyle Barnes, Monet Dupuy, Branson Haldor, and Louis Benny. Expect to see more pit stops come into play within the next couple of laps or so. Or perhaps Jaden Harrison in the chat can let us know if you can go a full 40 minutes on 1 fuel load here. It looks like some of the drivers are pretty much trying to go for it. As Julian Arce heads down into the pits, it looks like Monet will gain that position back. Driver from the Cayman Islands in the number 5 does decide to finally pit. Right at the 30-minute mark, it would seem. And he's out and rolling one more time. Let's take a look at Adi Miguel and when they might pit. South African driver for Team Jesus. Pit stop calls for Marcin Nagel. Both happening at the same time, but Peter Arundel decided to stay out. And I wonder if that's an intended strategy or not. Up on the leaderboard, you can see the pit lane times. Marcin doing a ton of fuel saving there. 8.1 second stop. Adding Nagel 8.5. Kyle Barnes actually passes Marcin in the pit stop. What an undercut out of Kyle Barnes. Barnes, who took 9.6 seconds of repairs and fuel, able to secure himself P2 for now with just 8 minutes left to go. Arundel comes down pit road. Should be healthy enough of a lead to not get passed by Kyle Barnes, but the way Kyle's been running, you could never tell. 8.6 pit stop time for Peter Arundel. Kyle Barnes coming through the final corner now. That should be his lead resecured, Peter Arendel's in P1. Marsan trails by half a second, but Kyle Barnes may be fuel saving within the next couple of laps. Trying to do commentator's math on a napkin and pen in my head, actually, to figure out how many laps remaining we're going to get, as Peter Arundel just crossed the line right then for the 30-second mark. I'm thinking we're going to get 3 more. Marsan challenging Barnes in towards turn 1 on the optimum line. Barnes covers off that inside, just a little bit defensive. Doesn't compromise his run coming out of Niki Lauda curve. In through turn 2, you can see the gap still hovering right around that 3/10 margin between the two of them. The double 2 and the number 4. Marsan desperately wanting to get by Barnes. I did see a red bar next to Peter Arendel's name. Hopefully that's not a disconnect or a mistake from him. The interval is still staying right around 11.4 seconds, so I won't worry about it too much. Kyle Barnes leads over Marsan by just 0.2 of a second. Marsan closing down the gap at the entrance of Niki Lauda curve. Monet did have to end up pitting one more time to make it to the end of the race. So he will probably be losing at least one position to Julian Narcet. Julian on a good run right now, could potentially walk away with 4 positions gained for the evening. Starting towards the back of the pack and just keeping his nose clean. Good leapfrog ahead in front of Monet. But Monet has a very short pit stop, 4.75, and that'll leave nearly a 7-second gap to Julian behind. Whoa, and there is a huge slide from Marsan through the final corner. And that'll be Addy, the driver, to get by now. That was through the final corner. Marsan, again, Tokyo drifts those tires. Able to keep it collected, pointed in the right direction. The driver now in the 4th position is the number 4 of Andrew Marsan. Adam Miguel should be pleased with himself, keeping it calm, cool, and collected the entire race. Should hold on to P3, but maybe not as Marsan continues to push. Let's take a look at the Marsan crash very quickly. Oh, just nicked the sausage curb there. And that's what unsettled his vehicle like that. And this will be the white flag lap for all of the drivers. It's been a up and down swell of things, but Peter Arundel should come home across the line, taking first place. The driver who started in 5th of this event, now working his way through Worth for the final time, should claim P1 tonight. The driver from Trinidad and Tobago, the number 8 of Arundel, doing a great job tonight, and he was super patient behind the other drivers, letting them squabble amongst themselves as he just took what came to him, really. Did a great job of just a phenomenal drive for Arundel. He needs to pat himself on the back for not being too aggressive and just being patient with the rest of the drivers in the field. Peter Arundel will take home P1. Kyle Barnes with an up and down run will take home P2. Should pat himself on the back as well. Adi Nagel in P3, still challenged by Andrew Marsan as we cross the line, as Marsan went a little wide at turn 10, and Marsan into 4th position. Julian Narcé will cross the line in 5th. About 43 seconds behind Marsan. Drivers gained 4 positions tonight. Really good run of things for Julian Narcé. Maybe not put together a great qualifying run, but a great finish for Julian. Monet Duploy in 6th place for the number 6. Branson Haldor will cross the line in 7th. Declan Daniel and Lewis Benny out of this event, leaving us with the 7 drivers to take the checkered flag. Hold on, folks. Be right back as we get the drivers ready for their interviews. Go ahead and stand by. Oh, we need to look at the results and the points. Excuse me. There are the results. There are the results, folks. Peter Arundel for Calypso Racing in P1. Kyle Barnes in 2nd place. Adi Nagel in P3. Julian Narcé, Marsan, Monet, Branson Haldor, Declan Daniel, and Lewis Benny, and the points are not working again. There we go. Let's see if we can get the point system to work this time. For the overall championship, no, and unfortunately, the points championship is not updating, so we'll have to go to the sim grid to get that. Stand by, folks, and we'll be right back with some driver interviews. Thank you so much for your patience, and see you in just a few moments' time. Stand by.
Yeah, no, well, the last lap wasn't easy at all. But yeah, the race itself was quite quiet on my own. But it was nice. Yeah, no, yeah, those four guys in the front are quick, like you can't believe. What they can get out of the car, it's just unbelievable. So the biggest thing is driving my own race, just keeping it within myself and my limits, um, and then wait for whatever comes. And this time it was lucky. Well, it's like you said, if you quick, you're on the limit. And it's basically just pulling back that little bit. It's always better staying on the road than losing it or going off. There's a lot of more time that you lose there. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's sea time and as soon as you're in the top, you're in the top. It's one of those things. No, my biggest shout goes out to my Lord and Savior. Like you see on my car, that's all I race for. So yeah, just all the blessings to him. Yeah, no, for sure. Keep well.
Yes. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me. Hmm. Well, yeah, I feel like it hooked up real good on the start, and everyone kind of takes it, including myself, a little more. You tiptoe around the first couple of laps when these tires come in, and I just felt a little bit. I guess I was a little bit more ambitious with the with the first couple laps, and then I think on about the fourth or fifth lap, I got a slowdown penalty on the exit there. So kind of did it to myself there, and yeah, and then going from there it was just pressure on the guy ahead, and I overcooked it myself. Hit that sausage curb on the exit of turn one and found the barrier. So it was yeah, a little bit of frustration in the beginning, and I figured, what's the best I can do? Well, I can just keep going, right? So yeah, that's where it took us. Mm. Yeah, it was like when I pulled off and I saw my steering all skew, I thought, ah, man, I'm not going to make it around. And I forged on and made it to the pits. Took obviously an unplanned pit stop. Took my one quick repair, and thankfully it was just enough. And when I came out the exit, I got right next to, I think it was Andrew. Yeah, got out there, and I don't know if he went wide or something else, but yeah, it was a good race to the end. Thankfully, it was very competitive. I was a lot of fun for me. Mhm. I thankfully put a little bit of extra gas in. I made it to the end. It was more of a tire management for me because I think it was, yeah, this car eventually, it feels like it eventually just tapers off aggressively. So fortunately, no fuel saving, just trying to keep the tires in their window. Mhm. I don't I don't really have anyone right now, but hopefully I will by next week. Yeah. Thank you. See you guys.
Yeah, well, I could ask for nothing better than that. I think I got a good start off the line and passed one car into turn one, and then I was just trying to hold on to the four guys ahead or the three guys ahead, but trying to save as much fuel as I could to try and do a short stop and also extend as much as possible. So yeah, that yeah. Not really. I mean, I had a lot of problems in qualifying. Just I couldn't get the car to turn. That lap that I did in qualifying was really not the best. So I said, all right, let me just try and as I'm down inside the pack, let me try and keep it clean the first round of of the circuit, and try to keep it clean and try to save some fuel and see where I can make some moves. Luckily, I got one at the start, and then as luck would have it, well, have it. Everyone in front of me seemed to have issues, and I ended up in first. Yeah, I think that basically sums it up. Is I was just trying to keep it clean, keep it on the track, and I don't know if because I was so close to everyone in front of me, they seemed like I was putting a lot of pressure on them, and I don't know if that caused the mistakes for both Andrew and uh, who was it? Yeah, and Kyle. And especially into turn one, I think both of them kind of hit that sausage curve on the outside and went off, and I was able to pass easily like that. So Yeah, I guess that pressure was able to do a little bit there, but yep. Yeah, well, I was hanging behind, and these cars are so sensitive to, especially under the brakes, like to go for a move, it's very easy to lock up and go sliding straight off the track. So, or even come into contact with someone. So I decided, let me just try and save a lot of fuel, maybe jump someone in the pits and get ahead. But as luck would have it, everyone in front of me seemed to have issues throughout the race, and I was able to get past that way. Just the organizers, definitely, for putting on another fantastic race. All the competitors who came out today, and this is a difficult track, especially in these cars. So really great to see all the competitors out here this week, and also my family for giving me the time to come and do this race. Yeah. Yes, definitely. Okay. I look forward to the race next week. Yes, you too. Bye.